Rasmus Hojlund, fresh from the Europa League victory over Pleasant, man 5-6. Rasmus Hojlund must start against Manchester City. I don't care what nobody wants to say. There is no better striker wearing the Manchester United jersey right now other than Rasmus Hojlund. So people, welcome back to the channel. You already know that this Sunday coming will be the Manchester Derby. And whenever it is the Manchester Derby, everybody have to stop and watch. It no matter what you do, bro. If you're there cook rice, you have to put on the rice. Ask wife if you cook the rice. Ask mate if you cook the rice. Manchester City against Manchester United has always been a top of the table clash. Ironically and interestingly, neither of those two teams are bossing the Premier League at the moment. City are sitting in fourth at the moment, clinging on to that final Champions League position. Manchester United are all the way down the table in 13th position. We have still not been able to put ourselves in the top 10 positions in the Premier League this season. It is still a work in progress. However, there's an opportunity, a huge opportunity coming this Sunday. If there was ever a time to take on a Manchester City team, it is this moment. And might I add, Erik ten Hag and Manchester United won the FA Cup off the back of an injured, dismembered, it wasn't a strong Man City team. But I'll say this, they're even weaker now. So we won the FA Cup beating Manchester City. So they're beatable. But they're even weaker now. So we should win that game. And I keep saying that we should win these games. And interestingly, when I said that Manchester United should have beaten Nottingham Forest, though I knew for a fact that it would have been a challenge, I'm not taking it back. Manchester United should beat Manchester City come this Sunday at the Etihad. Why should Manchester United beat Manchester City? Because Manchester City have been beaten thus far by all the other teams. Teams that people thought that, oh no, listen, when they lost to Bournemouth, people thought, okay, listen, you know, it's just one of those slip-ups. They'll start to win games now. And then the losses continued beyond that. And now Manchester City are in a position, not a good one. Their stats is not looking good. Because right now, for the last 5 games, Manchester City have only won one. Just one. Out of the last 5 Premier League's game, might I add. And so, it's not looking good for Manchester City. They've lost to Brighton 2-1. They were trashed by Spurs 4-0. That was followed by a 2-0 defeat at Anfield to Liverpool. And then they won at Nottingham Forest 3-0. And that's when I thought that, okay, City beat Nottingham. Manchester United should beat them too. Never work out that way. And then they drew 2-2 against Crystal Palace. That game was an interesting game because at one point you thought that City were going to win that match. And then Crystal Palace just, you know, threw some water upon the fire and just out it. You know what I mean? So Manchester City, they have not been at their best. They're absolutely a fragile team at the moment. They're sitting in 4th. They've played 15 games thus far. But they have an opportunity to go 3rd. Yes, that's the highest they can get right now with a victory. And that is 3rd. But for them to actually go 3rd, they must win and hope that Arsenal draw or lose their match as well. That's the only way they can go 3rd. And so it's an opportunity for Pep Guardiola and for the Manchester City players to redeem themselves. They have been really wobbly ever since, and it might just continue. I'm hoping that it continues for the sake of Manchester United, because for us, we also need some points. So it's not necessarily just about the derby and winning the derby and getting another win over Manchester City. It is also winning games and showing a level of consistency and to show the fans that we can compete as a club. But nonetheless, this is where Ruben Amorim will absolutely be rubbing his hands like this and licking his lips. Because if you recall, it was just about 6 weeks ago that Ruben Amorim and Sporting trashed Manchester City 4-1 in the Champions League. Victor Gyökeres got an hat-trick in that match, and that's why I keep advocating for Manchester United to do whatever it takes to sign Victor Gyökeres. He has already proven himself as a striker. Rasmus Hojlund is here on our books, but it's going to take some time for the player to really, catch a wave. He must surf, but he not really take on the high tides just yet. You know what I mean? We have not really seen him at his best against top opposition. And so we're asking for some patience with Rasmus Hojlund. But we need Victor Gyökeres. Manchester United, in the past, they have signed some big names that have not turned out, but also they have missed the opportunity to sign some big players as well. So we're asking for Ruben Amorim, James Wilcox, Omar Barada, Sir Jim Radcliffe. I'm asking for us to put the money together to sign Victor Gyökeres. Yes, we know that in the summer we'll be signing our first young lad, right? Diego Leon, a Paraguayan there, playing over in Paraguay. He won't come in until in the summer. He's a 17-year-old left back. I probably spoke about this before, but we need to sign Victor Gyökeres. He's absolutely crucial to the success of Manchester United. There's talk of Victor Osimhen, and Victor Osimhen is a decent player, but I quite like Victor Gyökeres. I feel like the fact that the player had played under Ruben Amorim before, and he has performed so brilliantly against Manchester City, I think that's a match made at Carrington. So we want for United to go out and sign Victor Gyökeres. All right? So City, like I said, they're not looking good. They're sitting in fourth in the table. They can only get a maximum of 30 points and finish the weekend in third. Should Arsenal draw or lose? Now, if Arsenal win, then that just changes the whole complex and everything. But speaking on Manchester City, they have an opportunity to cling on to that final spot in the Champions League. And we have an opportunity to improve on our position and to go 9 points, which would leave us just 5 points outside of the Champions League. We cannot afford to lose this game. I don't even believe that a draw will even suffice. Should we draw? I think Champions League is gone. And remember, being outside the Champions League for more than 2 seasons is a big hit on any football club from a financial perspective. So Manchester United should go to the Etihad and destroy Manchester City. If we don't destroy them, we just need a victory. And I believe that we can do it. Ruben Amorim had done it before with Sporting. And I believe that he can absolutely do it again. We're cheering for Ruben Amorim and Manchester United players to go and get all 3 points at the Etihad. Manchester City record continues to be horrendous. It is not just that they have lost 3 out of 5 in the Premier League, but overall, for all competition, the record is now 7 defeats and 1 win in 10. So if you're telling me that Manchester United cannot capitalize on this, I don't know when they're going to. Because when City comes back to full strength, which they will, every team go through these spells, and Pep Guardiola is an absolute masterclass. Though I thought he lost his mind, people, when I saw Pep Guardiola did this the other day, I said, wow, This is why Steven Gerrard, Frank Lampard, Wayne Rooney, Gary Neville, they've all failed. Because coaching business, an easy business. It is difficult. It is a it's a high stress environment, high stress result kind of business. It's a result based business. When you see a decorated coach, and some have argued he's the best coach in world football for many decades. When you see a man like that struggles and has been struggling, has scratched himself, according to his notes, according to his own admission, scratch his nose, scratch his head, and all of those bruises were as a result. And then you see him doing something like this that we saw Jose Mourinho did before he was ultimately dismissed for Manchester United. It tells you that things are really, really not looking up for the manager. But I believe that he'll bounce back. I believe that the fact that he has given so much to that club, the supporters absolutely love him. And you can see the difference in the fan base. Look at Manchester City as opposed to look at Manchester United. We're two different fan base, but we deal with business completely different. Manchester City, you don't get leaks. Yeah, man, you don't hear about leaks in the media. But I'm sure stuff are happening behind the door. The players are just so professional. I don't know how comes. It could be a selection basis. Why that is? It could be just that these players are just completely on a different level from a mentality perspective. But you don't hear about fights. You don't hear about leaks. They just keep it together. They're suffering, but they're suffering together. And I want to commend them for that. Liverpool is the same thing. You don't really hear about the cascas and the him say, she say. No, they keep the thing quite professional. But for my team, you see Fimi team, you see Manchester United. No. We want to make everybody know business. All our dirty laundry, we want to just dash it out there and say, see problem, yeah. See problem there. Blame this, blame that. You know what I mean? So I think as a club, when you're going through a difficult spell, players need to show that professionalism. We need to be able to hold our heads. And that's going to take some time. I think Ruben Amorim is coming to change things. They've already seen it. And so with time, we will improve. With time, we will get back to the levels of true champions. It's going to happen. There are players in the club that I'm sure by the summer should be gone. Now it's difficult to sell some of these players. I'm telling you. The stock are falling. But even though the stock are falling, bro, nobody come in. So where are we going to offload these players? We will find a way, I'm sure. Because the injury list, Luke Shaw and all these players who can't keep fit, I don't see where the club keeping them on the payroll. You see Sir Jim Ratcliffe? You see what the man doing? The man have cut everything. But you realize what I'm do? It seems as if he's starting from the top. Now, in most businesses, they really start cutting from the bottom. Yeah, man, they really don't cut from the top. They keep them executives and all these people intact, and then they cut line staff. But in this case, Manchester United, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, they're doing it in the opposite way. They're cutting from the top downwards. And so these players must be nervous. Luke Shaw should be nervous. Because again, like I said, we're signing a 17-year-old. Luke Shaw should be nervous about his position. And should he be cut from the Manchester United wage bill, where will he go? He can't keep fit. So I'll be nervous if I'm Luke Shaw. But let's move further afield. Should we give a prediction as to who we think will start in the derby for Manchester United? I'm not going on Manchester City. I'll leave that to Manchester City to do for them starting level. You understand? So let us do the prediction for the starting level that I believe is going to take place for Manchester United against Manchester City at the Etihad. So, in goal, Onana. Is that getting a little bit redundant now? Or what? Or we're saying, listen, there's no competition. Onana still will start in goal. Easy one there. Onana in goal. Alright? Matthias de Ligt, though I believe they played a little bit over what they should have in the Europa League, Matthias de Ligt should start. It should be the same back three. I'm predicting it's going to be the same back three. Lissandro Martinez, unless something happens before Sunday, I'm predicting that it's going to be de Ligt, Lissandro Martinez, Mazwari. Quite loving the player at the moment. He's very good defensively. Like Ruben Amorim says, he doesn't do very well in training, but on match days, he's world class. Where have you heard that? It sounds familiar. I remember one time when I was when they were scouting me for footballing opportunity. I remember one point the coach here came to me and he said, "You don't need to train. We just need you to come at the games." You know, at that particular moment, I was the best. Yeah, man, I was the best in the institution. And so he said, "Listen, you don't need to train. We just need you to come at the games." And I said, "Coach, I really can't." And he said, "Why you can't?" And I said, "You know, the reality is that I have a mother, you see, who she said if me fail, then the outcome is not going to be nice. I won't say what the outcome was, but you know, I looked at it and I said, I have to take the book thing seriously. And so, you know, I sort of passed that opportunity on. But yeah, man. And so that's what Ruben Amorim is saying, that Mazwari, he doesn't train very well. But on match days, the guy turn up and the guy is elite. So Mazwari should also be in the starting lineup. Will the lad feature? Yes, I think the lad will feature. Will he play on the right or will he play on the left? I think where this is concerned, I think there be a change here. I believe that Mazari might just very well play on the left side. I'm going to call it. I'm going to say Mazari will play on the left side. We realize that he's playing on the right, but I think I want to say Mazari play on the left. Yeah. I think Mazari will play on the left. Ahmad didn't do so well in the front three. Ruben Amorim did make some changes against Pleasant in the last game that we played in the Europa League. And he played Ahmad a bit further forward. I don't think he's going to do that. Ahmad, he was effective, but he wasn't that effective. I feel like the player right now is playing better playing wide than playing in the front three. Because playing wide, he has more time on the ball. He can turn, he can look for passes, he can also dribble for longer distances, which he enjoys doing. So I don't think he's going to play him in the front three. So I think what's going to happen is he might have Mazwari on the left and the lot on the right, or vice versa. Because we play in Manchester City, and so defensively we have to be switched on. If we're switched off defensively, they're going to hurt us. It doesn't matter the form that they're in right now. They're going to hurt us. So we have to be switched on. So I think defensively is going to be solid. That's what I'm thinking. So I'm looking at Mazwari left or right and Delat left or right. That's what I'm saying. But if I'm to put my money on it, I'm going to say it's going to play. Who plays on the left for City? Savino is on the right for City, right? Which is a problem. That dude is electric. Should Doku start, he's going to put him on the left. So either way you take it right now, we're going to be up against a whirlwind from an attacking threat coming from the wings for Manchester City. So who would you prefer to have on either flank? For me, the most dangerous player right now is Savino. Very skillful. So I want Mazari on Savino. And so I'm playing Mazari on the left back position. Left wing back position. I'm not putting him on the right. I'm putting the lot on the right to take on Doku. I think the lot on the right will get more support from Ahmad than being on the opposite flank, where quite possibly might be Garnacho or Marcus Rashford. I don't think Marcus Rashford will start, but I don't know. And so this is what I'm thinking. I'm playing Mazari on the left because Mazari will get more support. He'll be more solid defensively. So I'm playing him on the right. I think he can mitigate mitigate the threat of Savino along with Lissandro Martinez. We play Delot on the right, and Delot will pair with Ahmad, forming that defensive partnership. Okay? In midfield, I'm feeling that he's going to drop Bruno Fernandes back in the midfield, Again, it's Manchester City. We need people on the ball who can find a pass, who can look up and make a pass. And then equally off the ball, they have the defensive ability to trap back. Bruno Fernandes run the full length of the pitch. So I would want to feel that Ruben Amorim is going to the Etihad. He's going to win, but he's going to the Etihad to frustrate them like we did with Arsenal. Manchester City don't have the kind of threat like an Arsenal. So we can take some grace in that. All right. So I think Bruno Fernandes will play in the midfield. He may be alongside Ogate. Ogate didn't feature until in the second half. So I'm calling Ogate to come back in to play against City alongside Bruno Fernandes. The front three, Garnacho should start on the left. And in the forward position is Rasmus Hojlund. And on the right side, there may be a chance for Marcus Rashford to get one last cameo on the right-hand side. There's a chance that he could come in. Because if you look at it, it's not going to be Anthony. It's not going to be Anthony. And I don't think it's going to be Ahmad. If it's going to be Ahmad, then who do you play behind Ahmad? You know what I mean? Who you play behind Ahmad? You going to play Delot behind Ahmad? Well, yeah, you could play Delot behind Ahmad. So it most definitely could go that way. Yeah, it probably could go that way, right? Play Delot and then play Ahmad in front of Delot, right? So Ahmad would then take up the centre forward position or the right wing position as opposed to the wing back, left wing back position. Yeah. I think that's how it's going to look. And then with this being said, I think that's a solid team to play against a Manchester City team who are struggling right now, wounded right now. This, I believe, is one of our best opportunity to get all 3 points at the Etihad. People, it can't get no better than this. This should be a straightforward win. This should be another win, another goal for Rasmus Hojlund. Yeah? 1 assist for Bruno Fernandes. And of course, Ahmad will give us his cameos as per usual. So people, that's it for the preview. It's going to be Manchester City against Manchester United. It's at the Etihad. It's an afternoon kickoff game. We're going for all 3 points. But if we can't get 3 points, we must take the draw. We can't afford to get 3 defeats in a row in the Prem. We can't afford that. So we must go for the win. If we can't get the win, we take the draw. Should we get the win, we'll pile on more pressure on Pep Guardiola, and Manchester City will draw ourselves even closer to securing a berth in either the Champions League once more or the Europa League. I'm not even thinking about Europa League. Honestly, we're playing in it right now. Should we win it, we'll automatically qualify for the Champions League. But let's think about getting 3 points. We have some issues of our own, and Bruno Fernandes did make light of this in his interview, but we're going for all 3 points. All right? So getting the things together. And listen, don't get it confused. I wear the blue. And so you thought Manchester City was blue? They're blue. But you thought Manu was blue? No, fam. Manu are red. Every day a week. Don't forget it. It is glory, Man United. Alright? So what I have to say. And I'm out.